Hey, it's James here from GoodGuitarist.com, and today I want to cover the next set of chords that people should learn once they're comfortable with the basic ones. And when I say comfortable, I don't just mean being able to make the shapes. I mean you're able to strum them, use them in songs, and switch into and out of them pretty well. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you should feel pretty good about it. Now, we're going to do this systematically, key by key, to make sure that no stone is left unturned. That way you'll have a clear plan for which chords will be the most useful for you to learn on guitar. Real quick before we get started, if you enjoy learning with me, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you have a moment, check out my premium courses. I'll put a link down below. Also, if you have not yet grabbed your copy, I have a free ebook, completely free for all my subscribers. There's a link for that down below too. Reviewing the most basic chord shapes. We'll begin by listing out the basic chord shapes. C, A, G, E, D. You know, the entire fretboard's based on those 5 shapes. 3 of those can be turned into minor chords pretty easily. E minor, A minor, D minor. Now, the biggest, most glaring omissions here are C minor and G minor, and that's because those can't be basic chords. They are bar chords. Now, when it comes to playing bar chords, I have an entire system to take you from a simple 2-finger shape and to kind of build it up until you're at the point where you can play full bar chords. And those lessons are free on my YouTube channel here. I also have a course which is more step by step and is going to guide you through the whole thing. But ultimately, in order to unlock all the keys and to, hit the next level, to go beyond the basic chords, bar chords are the key. Let's talk about where bar chords come from. For instance, for the C minor chord, it's not just a random shape on guitar. It all begins with a familiar shape, in this case, A minor. We play A minor, saving our index finger. We're going to move it up 1 fret, and when I do that, it doesn't sound good because the open strings are still down here. We need to move them up too by barring with our index finger. That gives us a usable shape. And the root of the A minor shape is right here, the A string. When we bring it all up 1 fret, the root of this new chord is A sharp minor. And then we go up again, B minor, and then C minor. So that note is C, and you can confirm that by playing a C chord. That's the lowest note of your C chord. C major chord, I mean. So that's our C minor chord. And we could just drag this up the fretboard and unlock every minor chord. D minor, E minor, F minor, F sharp minor, G minor. And there's our G minor that was missing before. But this isn't like the best way to do it, especially if you're like strumming like an A chord and then you gotta play a G minor. It's too far. So instead, we can apply this same logic starting with an E minor chord, which has a root on the E string. We're gonna play it with our ring finger and our pinky finger. We go up 1 fret. Sounds awful. We gotta bring our open strings up 1 fret as well using a bar. And in this case, our root is on the E string. That's the note F minor, F sharp minor, G minor. So there's our G minor chord. And a little tip is you can use your middle finger to reinforce your index. Helps out a little bit. And you can take this all the way up the fretboard to G minor, A minor, B minor, and so on. And that gives you a lot of options when it comes to playing minor chords. And when we do the next step of this, and actually fit this into like songs and stuff, you'll see that those are the missing chords most of the time. Now that we have major and minor versions of our basic shapes, let's see which chords are actually used in common keys on guitar. And really quick, because as soon as I say the word keys, to a lot of people, it's like, oh, here comes a bunch of music theory. But a key just means chords that work well together. So when somebody's writing a song or when you're learning a song, odds are every chord in that song comes from 1 key. So it's a really valuable way to think about chords because it groups them in a really logical way. Now, the most commonly used keys are C, A, G, E, and D. So let's expand each one of those into a full key. First, the key of C. I'll just write it out here. And as you can see, there's just a bunch of basic chords except for F, which can be a bar chord, or we can just use easy F. So, if a song is in the key of C, we can just tackle it with some basic shapes. It's not going to be too tricky. Moving on, the next key that I would learn here is G. And when I write it out, it's a bunch of basic chords except for B minor. Now, B minor, we can just take our A minor shape, go up 2 frets, bar the 2nd fret. It's just 1 away from C minor. So C minor, we're playing from the 3rd fret, B minor from the 2nd fret. And you might realize that it's really important to know the names of the notes on the bottom 2 strings. That way you know where to put these chords, right? If you know the 2nd fret of the A string is B, boom, there's your B minor. You know that the 5th fret's D, there's a D minor shape, and so on. Anyways, I would play through my key going G, A minor, B minor, C, D, E minor. Maybe just for practice, but the most useful thing that you can do is to find a song in the key of G that has a B minor chord in it. Anyways, the next one that I would learn is D. And when I write it out here, you can see that it has almost all the same chords as the key of G, except we're adding F sharp minor. F sharp minor, we have our E minor shape. We go up 2 frets, bar the 2nd fret. Our root is the 2nd fret of the thickest string. That's the note F sharp. And you could go D, E minor, F sharp minor, G, A, B minor, D. Or you could find a song that uses the F sharp minor chord and begin incorporating it into your repertoire. Now the next key is A. And A has pretty much the same chords as the key of D, but we're also going to add C sharp minor, which is pretty simple when you're playing them in order. You start with A, then you go to B minor, and then for C sharp minor, you just slide it up 2 frets. That's C sharp minor. And then D, E, F sharp minor, A. So note the order that we're doing these keys in. Every time we go up a key, we're adding one more minor sharp chord, right? The next one that we're going to do is the key of E. And this one is pretty heavy with bar chords. We're even going to have a new bar chord shape. We can go through a little bit of it. Start on E, F sharp minor. For G sharp minor, we just go up 2 frets. I'm sensing a pattern here. And then we have A, and then we have a B chord. You could do B7 there and just eliminate that B bar chord, which we'll discuss in a sec. And then from here we go to C sharp minor, and that's our key of E. Now as far as that B bar chord is concerned, where does that one come from? I'd actually like you to maybe try and guess this using the same logic. When we were learning B minor, we took the A minor shape and moved it up 2 frets. Now we're doing B major. So we're going to take the A major shape and move it up 2 frets. The one issue comes with fingering. If you take your A major shape and just move it up 2 frets, we don't have an index finger to bar the 2nd fret. And you might think, well, I'll just use these 3 fingers to play A, and then I'll bar the 2nd fret that way. And that works, but it's kind of uncomfortable. I literally felt like an electricity twitch in my tendons here just doing that. So what we do instead is we make our A major shape with our ring finger, just barring with our ring. And don't worry about the thinnest string, just let it be muted. Go up 1, 2, bar the 2nd fret, it's B, which is by far the hardest bar shape when you're starting out, but eventually it's one of the best because it's just 2 fingers and it's so easy to switch into and out of it. And yeah, that's it. Those are the 5 most important keys to know on guitar. From there, the next one I would do is F, and then you could learn B flat and E flat and all that kind of stuff and learn minor keys. But I recommend just learning some songs that use some of these chord shapes. Learning that songs are in certain keys. And then from there, you'll be ready to tackle basic music theory. You'll be able to kind of write out the key of F and figure out what chords are in it. And you're not going to be tied down to just memorizing stuff. I think it's great to memorize these 5 keys, but everything else is kind of based on them. And it's going to be an easy journey once you've done a good job of really working on these ones. Now, if you enjoy learning guitar with me, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel, like the video, and if you want to take your guitar journey to the next level and just have me kind of walk you through everything, I have a bunch of premium courses available with membership. I'll put a link to that down below. Have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.